Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Ministries. Now, I've talked about sin before on different occasions, but it's something that needs to be brought up again and again and again. And the reason for it is many people forget that they are sinners. Now, it's not a word that's used very much today. As a matter of fact, people will try to get past the idea of what sin is by calling it something else. They call it a mistake, a misjudgment, a bad decision, even a disease. But those things aren't what sin is. Sin, ultimately, is something that we choose to do. It's in our nature to do so. We are sinners by birth. We are sinners at conception. We are sinners by choice. Now, people don't want to hear that. Especially these days, they don't look at sin as what it is and it's an offense against God. They don't see it that way. They see sin as an offense against them. Now, while you can sin against another person, the American idea of sin is things like racism, bigotry, xenophobia, homophobia, and if you're Hitler or Donald Trump, then you are a sinner. And while all those things are true, that's where society wants to stop. They call it a sin only if it offends them. If it doesn't offend them, it's, well, I'm not a sinner, it's a lifestyle choice. I'm not a sinner, it's what makes me feel good. Well, I'm not a sinner, it's just who I am. And the truth being that, yes, you are a sinner. A sinner is just who you are. That's why Jesus had to come and die for those sins. Someone had to pay that price, and it's either you or God himself who pays the price. Now, if you have to pay it, you will spend eternity paying for it. Not in this life, but in the life to come. When this life expires, the next life is what's going to happen, whether you're a sinner or not. And we are all sinners. I am a sinner. But my sins have been washed clean through the blood of Christ. And that makes all the difference. People don't want to talk about sin. They don't want to admit that they sin. See, sin is based on someone else. If I find someone else worse than me, that person is a sinner. I'm not a sinner. I'm not a sinner because here's the criteria I keep, the criteria I made for myself. I determine a sinner based on my thoughts, my opinions, my feelings. And if I don't feel like I'm a sinner, if I don't think I'm a sinner, if I don't believe I'm a sinner, then I am not a sinner. The problem is, you are. Everybody is. Everybody who's ever walked the earth, except Jesus Christ himself, is a sinner. That includes you, that includes your parents, everybody you know, your spouse, your children. That includes Mary, the mother of Jesus. That includes Muhammad. That includes any other religious leader who has ever lived on the earth. They are all sinners. They are sinners because they choose it. They are sinners because they were born with it. They are sinners because it was passed on to them through Adam. Now, I know I say these things before, but people continually forget them. And as society moves along, they're going to find other ways to excuse that very sin. But there is no excuse for it. God has provided a way to escape those sins and escape the punishment of sin. And that is through Jesus alone. If you admit you're a sinner, you believe that he died for those sins, and you believe that he is God and make him Lord of your life, then you won't have to worry about an eternity in hell. You can only have to worry about an eternity with him. So yes, while the world sees sin as a dirty word, and really it is, it's not because of the reasons they think. It is a dirty word because it makes us dirty, spiritually and physically. And there's only one way to clean it, and that's through Jesus Christ himself. This has been 5 Minute Ministries, and I'll see you next time.